What's up, guys? It's your boy, GRC. I did the same thing I did yesterday where I did the whole intro. Sound like a con artist now because I'm doing it again. But, guys, it's your boy, GRC. This is Crypto in the Morning. This is the best crypto show in the world, and it will continue to be that until one of these dorks steps up. Guys, we are so excited. Sam is so excited. I've had an amazing morning. I've been up for hours and hours and hours. I've been to the gym. I did a 30-minute stretching session. I answered all my emails. I answered all my YouTube comment stuff. So I've been having a killer morning, and I've been in the Twitter spaces where we were onboarding people all morning, having a good time, teaching people about the good word. Hex.com. I'll scream it. I will scream it over the rooftop. I don't care what anyone says, my father, my mother, anyone, about anything. Hex.com is one of a kind. The Hex cryptocurrency is the one that I find the most interesting because it has the most truth and transparency attached to it. And that's what we like on this show. We're going to be talking about NFTs today, a little bit off Richard Hart's, wheelhouse, but me and Sam, we got business to attend to. Richard already got dollar bills, baby. Spread the love. Just kidding. But no, we want to understand for business moving forward, like what are the utilities of this? Where can we use this? Can smart people get behind this and make this into an amazing thing? Sam, I want to figure it out. And I think you figured a lot of that out last night because I watched your stream, really good stream with Steak and Apes over on Sam Stoltz's channel. That was around 6 p.m. Eastern. Maybe we go on again later, all three of us. Who knows? The future is so bright, guys. I hope everyone is doing amazing. This is Crypto in the Morning. I'm not going anywhere. I don't have shit to do. I will be here every day, and if you don't like it, just block me now. Because we're going to the moon, baby! Damn it.
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Point one every day we mark. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the Hex, he is mooning. Looking at why they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out, gonna get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex had me eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
What's up? How you doing, man? It is
Good
a
morning.
wonderful morning.
For reference, me and Sam have not. Oh, no, we did talk earlier. JK.
We did talk earlier today. I came back from the gym. We have day number 4 in the books. Well, day number 4 workout in the books for the Crypto Fitness Challenge. It's going awesome. The people who are doing this challenge are inspiring me to just be better and provide more value because they're just trying to improve their life. And that is inspiring to me. I love seeing people who are just taking action to get better, to achieve what they want in life. And I get inspired by those people who are going through and actually taking action. So I'm excited, and then thinking about how we can incorporate NFTs into a fitness challenge. Oh, it's possibilities are endless.
Let me give them a sneak peek, guys. First of all, breaking news. Share this shit out, okay? Breaking news. When GRC speaks, hex go up, okay? So direct correlation. I don't care what math you're doing. When crypto in the morning is live, there is a 100% correlation with green candles. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you say or who you bring to the table. Those are just nuclear effects. Guys, we are pumping hard. Sam, we're talking about a fifth. Sam, damn it. Sam, whoa, I'm freaking out. Sam, we're in a bear market, dude. We're in a bear market. We just pumped 50% in a week, and no one's talking about it.
This is a double. This is a double in about a month. We were at 10 cents recently. This is a double in about a month. You just doubled your money. If you bought a month ago at 10 cents, 11 cents, you nearly doubled your money.
And who was buying? The Hexicans, the hardcore ones, right?
Well, remember, I called this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when I was like, hey, people are going to be buying in the transition, in the lead up. I expect
it's funny, Sam, because right when Pulse Chain launched, let me bring you back to a little FUD at the time. So right when Pulse Chain was announced, everyone said if you don't and Hex was pumping at the time, Sam. So remember, we were topping out at the time. Everyone said, like, we were at the top, remember, buy as much Hex as you fucking can because we're getting a double and people won't stop buying until Pulse Chain comes out. Dropped 85%. So the whales are very aware of these trends. They're almost like breathing to them. So easy.
So at 50 cents, they're saying that.
Oh, 56 cents.
Yes.
No, people say, like, if you don't buy now, like, you're wrecked.
And then down 85%.
Yeah, from the top,
Yeah. This is
and people ask me, why aren't you so serial onboarding everyone anymore? Because I don't want to fucking deal with anything like that. I don't want to deal with an 85% dip in someone's bag because I fucking sat there with them for fucking 3 hours and told them how to buy Hex at the top. Because they're too stupid. It's like, figure this shit out. I'm telling you, research Hex and Pulse in your free time. If you don't believe me, fuck off. Seriously.
Be like, I'm gonna be here next year. I'm still gonna be doing the same thing.
If you guys in the chat, and there are some of you from my hometown, okay, the ones that I've been screaming to this about, my brother, my family, guys, when are you going to admit that you were wrong? You were wrong. And you weren't wrong about me. You were wrong about finance. You know what I mean? You were wrong about the way the things work. You believed what they were selling you. And I didn't. I just didn't for whatever reason at the time. Like everyone, I was a young kid doing whatever I wanted. I was a free thinker, But guys, at the end of the day, Hex is built, in my opinion, to perform in a bear market like this. And not necessarily go sky high, but the sell pressure, where does it come from? We see all of it. I mean, we know how many people are selling. They will run out, whether it's a year, 2 years, and then it'll pump again, obviously, you know how it goes. Cycles. Guys, we have a special guest and I want Satoshi to know this because we haven't talked at all. So we're talking about NFT utility today. Me and Sam have ideas. We want to know more about what's possible and why. And a lot of that is the why, right? I want to know at the knuckle and bolts of this thing, like what is possible, not so much like the stuff everyone's doing. Like I know there's 1.5 million ideas for every little thing going on, but I want to know what's possible. I'm going to transition because I'm a show host.
Satoshi, what's up, brother? Good seeing you, man.
Since we're talking about NFTs, I'm gonna do a soft shell.
Dude, soft shell it up, bro. I don't give a fuck. Because guess what? I can't find a soul in this community that knows a thing about NFTs.
Oh,
other than Steak and Apes.
Called the right dude up.
Other than Steak and Apes. Steak and Apes is the only other guy. He was busy today.
Yeah, Steak and Apes is we've actually been talking a little bit about some things because with the NFT marketplace launching.
Biggest misconception.
The biggest misconception is that it's like flip my JPEG number, go up, and like don't get me wrong, it's 99% of the space right now, but NFTs are 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 the next Bitcoin, in my opinion. And
Can you explain that? How so? What do you mean by that?
Your car deed, there's no value to it. Your car has a value, but that value is determined by supply and demand of the market. That deed has that intrinsic value wrapped inside of it, because without that deed, you can't transfer that value from one person to the other. So NFTs are basically a digital version of that. And that's really what I see being like the biggest utility in the future for NFTs, like things that used to have paper deeds given to you by a sovereign nation that put their little stamp on it, bureaucracy approved, here you go. Now it's going to be digital infrastructure.
Do you see this like being a massive, right? Because a car, your house are two big things, right? That are just super cumbersome and pain in the butt. So because, and I don't know the math behind it, but you would think that if you decrease friction of that, right? Like hey, you got to call this thing, you got to call the DMV or whatever to get your deed. But if you can reduce the friction of that, or like I got to go to the town clerk to get a copy of the deed and all this garbage, like, and then they can mess stuff up.
I had to get a actual copy of the title of my vehicle. I'm going to dumb this down to like baby level to know how stupid the industry of car insurance is. They made me, after 12 hours of calls in 41 days with a rental car, 41 days, my car got totaled in my driveway. I was never in it. Someone drunk driver smashed my car. 41 days later, they say you can't have your check unless you get the title of your car, the original copy, put a stamp on it and send it to us directly. You can't drive it here and you can't email it. I've never been to the post office before.
It's crazy.
When I was a kid and my mom was coming in.
I mean, and even when you talk about like supply chain, right? Like supply chain is probably one of the biggest farces in our current existence, because like the minute something comes to port to the second it goes to your hands, there is this like middleman that and that middleman is a series of middlemans that just take your fucking money. Customs broker is $5,000 for a 20-foot container. If you get flagged for an audit, that's another $5,000. The U.S. government has flagged you for an audit that you have to pay for. What?
Well, plus the port charges you to just
right.
Do shit
Port charges. If you get flagged for an audit and you have to sit in the merge for a couple of days, the merge is, I mean, depending on what container you have an open top container, that's $600 a day. If you have a regular container, that's a couple $100 a day, and you could spend $20,000 just trying to get something into the country, and that affects goods and services. It's not just happening to normal people; it's happening to corporations. It's happening to, and the problem is all these shipping companies are doing is putting a person there that scans your document, makes sure it's authentic. Like the blockchain can do that. There's like literally like from the time you show up to port to the time you get to your trailer, you've seen like 6 people that just try to verify that you own this shit. And the customs broker alone is getting $5,000 just to be able to say, okay, you're buying this from China or Thailand or wherever you're importing it from. All right, the deed has to be a physical copy. Technically speaking, I don't need a customs broker if I could get China to overnight me the deed, because then I could just show up to the port with that piece of paper and say, hey, this is mine. But because of how it works, they want you to use the customs broker. They're not going to send you the piece of paper because it's a massive infrastructure of
so it sounds
extortion.
Like
it's extortion.
It sounds like you have some intimate experience with this.
Right?
he's like, yeah, it's $243 a day if this happens, right? Like generally people are not going to know those details. So when you look at this, like it's such a massive opportunity that Uber's getting into this to reduce the fat that's there, right? So how can NFTs go in there and help solve that?
Non-fungible tokens you could spin up a non-fungible token right now. You could literally just go to You literally like the solidity for a non-fungible token. If you don't have any complicated flea spitters or anything, you could literally like do it in like maybe less than 10 lines. Like it's literally like
when you said solidity, what is that? Just code?
oh, that's the code that the blockchain uses. Well, EVM forks use. That's all coded in solidity. But
so
like
when you say that, when you say you spit up the solidity, you're just saying, hey, when you write the contract kind of thing, effectively.
yeah, it's like pragma solidity, the header, like HTML header has like it tells you what type, blah blah blah, and then you're just basically saying I need a name, I need a ticker, and I need to comply with whatever standard I'm using. So if it's like a 721 or 1155, there are certain rules. You need an event. There's certain functions you have to have.
Real quick for everyone who's watching.
Am I breaking everybody's brain yet?
No, I like it.
You're the man. Anyone who talks that S, get out of here. Get out. This dude's grinding. Like, are you kidding me? I love the detail that you bring, because that's what we look for on the show. Guys that speak with detail, like you, because that means they actually read stuff.
Oh yeah, dude.
Or they're in the people who are doing it are my favorite people to talk to, because those people actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like
And everyone else says they do. I posted yesterday on my Twitter, and I'll pull this up later. When you take a loan out on Aave, what does that look like, and how is there a taxable event ever, and how does your bank associate that transfer? I was asking that question. I wanted to know. Everyone acted like they had the answer until I was like, have you ever done it? They were like, no. Correct. And then I was like, even Jesse from Liquid Loans came in and he said something. I didn't agree with it at all. But I have to look back at exactly what it was. But then I messaged Jesse right away. I said, we got to have you back on the show to talk about I want to talk about some stuff with you.
We could talk about it later. But I haven't done it, but I know like the gist of how that would work.
Well, I mean, that's just accounting. Like a lot of it is, I mean, loans are not new to block. I mean, they're not this new thing that showed up because blockchain showed up. If you and that's why I operate as a company, because it has an LLC. I'm basically an LLC. I'm like a shell corporation. So when I move things around, I'm able to move them around as if I'm everything I buy is a write-off, so it's a tax offset. You know what I'm saying? So when I take a bunch of profits and I'm paying $100,000 in capital gains for something, and then I turn around and buy a food trailer and a truck and all this, and I buy it as a corporation, that $100,000 is going into those assets that are producing revenue in the next 2 years, and I didn't pay a single dime in taxes to do it. Like all that capital gains, I don't have to worry about it because you're operating as a corporation, and corporations do this shit all the time. Amazon has paid zero taxes, federal taxes in the last 5 fucking years. You got to play the game.
You're the best, dude. You're the best. You're the best, dude.
I haven't paid taxes in 3 years. Yeah, you can get around to like.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people in this space who haven't paid taxes, but for the wrong reasons. But me, I've paid minimal taxes, and I've done it all just moving.
You did it the way that they let you do it. You put in the work, and you were like, "I'm going to find."
It's like here's the rules, and you just follow the rules, and the rules they let you do it.
I'm fiat fucking broke, but I don't have to worry about taxes, and I killed it on capital gains last year. So for me, I'm building, and I'm not doing that like wag me, I'm building. No, I'm actually fucking building.
Right.
IRL building, bro.
Yeah. Oh yes. Okay, so let's get back to the supply chain for a minute, because I love the detail, and it sounds like you have the experience, and this is probably part of like what you're dealing with, where you showed your shirt a minute ago, the meme and the NFTs thing.
Yeah, dude.
So how would the NFTs solve that? And then after that, I want to ask you more.
Yeah, so we spoke about like the 6 people you got to deal with from port to trailer, right? And then you got to pull up with a truck, right? And the trucker has to be certified to get in, right? So you're probably still going to need a certified trucker, but it's a certified trucker, $30 in gas and an NFT versus $12,000 and a certified trucker. You know what I'm saying? Like an NFT, I show up to port, you scan it. Oh, you own this. You do own this. It's an immutable, non-fungible token that shows that you own this. And China sent it to you in a second. It didn't take, I have to overnight this to you. And if it gets lost in the mail, that paper is gone. If that paper is gone, nobody owns the trailer. No, it's digitally sent to your wallet. And any shipping company that's trying to extort you, any customs broker that's trying to extort you, the U.S. government can't extort you in that situation. You have the proof that you own it. You know, when we talk about a deed in a car, I mean, I see a future where we're trading houses like we trade degen shitcoins. Like the equity, technically speaking, if you wrap a house in an LLC and you mint, let's say you mint 1 million shares for that LLC, and you put that on an 1155 contract, and you have 1155, 100,000, or what did I say, 1 million shares. That's a million slots ownership shares on the 1155 contract. Technically, you just tokenize that house. Anybody could buy that share, quote unquote, as an NFT.
Wow.
So what is 1155? That's a standard.
The 1155 is a standard. It has it's different from the 721 because it has the ability to store data within it. It has 3 item layers, and in these item layers you can store different things. Like if you were doing a trading card game, you have 3 item layers. You could do attack, defense, XP. If you were doing real estate, you could do like one item layer is just my ownership tree. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually,
are you talking because ERC 1155 standard? That's what.
Yeah, the 1155 standard.
Ethereum token standard focused on incorporating the best traits from earlier standards for creating fungibility independent and gas efficient token contracts. The ERC 1155 standard has been created by the developers behind Engine and blockchain-based platform for games.
I love Engine. Oh my god. Engine.
So guys, that's so Sam, just for me and you, like that seems like that is the way you like if you wanted to tokenize your house, like the ERC 1155. I mean,
even tokenizing marketplaces, OpenSea, like the way that they internalize their transactions, like when you list in their marketplace, they have their own little like centralized bubble network of like how you move the tokens around, right? You can't export them to another marketplace, but you use them within OpenSea and it's fine. That is based on 1155. The entire infrastructure is an 1155 contract.
So 1155 is more like of a capable in terms of if you wanted to do more complex things.
Yeah, within the token itself. So if you wanted like an ERC 721 is just an ownership of one. It's like it's a token. You own it. There's nothing more to it. With an 1155, you got to think of it more of like a pyramid. Like the 1155 is this, and then I have 3 sub layers that I could add data into. So you could have an ownership tree on one leg. You could have another value in another, and another value, and those values can be used by whatever protocol or API node you're using to interact with whatever your platform is. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick. We're getting into Spanish. We're getting into. Okay.
This is interesting, but I agree.
This is absolutely exactly what I wanted to talk about. Exactly. There's not a. So, but I want to stop you and I want to move back a hair. So I can read here, obviously, what these contracts are, the ERC 1155. Like, I need to, what is that category? What is that subunit of things? Like the ERC, like, I don't understand. Because it says.
So in regular coding, you have a digital object that you create, right? That object, you can store data on that object using sub item layers basically within the object.
When you say object, that's referencing a line in code or something.
Yeah, it depends on what coding. I mean, it could be a constructor, it could be a class, the methods, right? They're all different. They all have different aspects of it, but they all basically are like digital objects that you can store data in, and then you can call that data and use that data as you need to, and do what you need to do, and manage all of the distribution of data properly to whoever's participating in that network. So what 1155 does is basically takes like that same concept and brings it onto the smart chain. So
and you can do like an 1155 is what was adopted on Ethereum, but then you could also do that on Binance or Solana.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all Solidity. So technically speaking, if you can launch it on if you can deploy it on one network, you can deploy it on all of them.
Interesting. So you're in the deep thick of it. It sounds like with your project related to this. You want to?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not the dev on meme NFT. There's a lot of people with way bigger brains than me. I just understand it very deeply, and I'm starting to I just started opening up Solidity files, actually trying to code Solidity files, and we'll launch a couple things.
When you say you're trying to launch Solidity files, that's the code for the blockchain.
That's
right?
a smart contract, essentially. Yeah, so the smart contract has a specific
So
structure
when you
to
start, just for me, this is for
Yeah.
me. I'm getting selfish here. When you start, let's say I own the house that I'm in right now. Let's say I wanted to, and I would never do this, but I want to it's an easy example. Let's say there's $100,000 in this house and I do it through 100 different shares, right? So there's $1,000 each. How would I go from that value, because that value exists, right, to making that occur where someone could purchase one of those shares?
Because I've literally thought about when you were saying that example, but okay, how do I turn it's already it's easy to put into an LLC.
And you don't have to go into
there are certain structures that you have to avoid, because then you require SEC compliance, because the suppression committee will come and knock on your door and be like, hey, you can't do that. But for example, a private real estate trust, as long as you follow the bylaws of a private real estate trust, technically speaking, you can wrap a real estate within the trust and sell the shares of that trust to the open market. And as long as you get, I think it's 200 investors within 2 years, you don't require SEC compliance. No person can own more than 51% of the supply, I believe. And there's a couple little nuances, but it's simple stuff. And if we could figure it out, well, we just figured out how to make blockchain real estate transactions happen. People can unlock their equity without going to the central bank. You can't go to a bank and be like, oh, I need to unlock this equity. Well, we're not lending right now because the Fed told us we have to screw all of you. So, why don't I just go and get that money from 100,000 people, and then they all stake into they're basically buying shares of the trust. I can unlock that equity and then go buy another property with that, wrap it into the trust, and now everybody's making more money because all that revenue is being resolved within the blockchain. All right, every month that property is making income, that income is going straight to a treasury in the blockchain, and then all my expenses are coming out. So let's say I have a property management company that just basically resolves all those transactions. Oh, today you were $100,000 in expenses for the month. That comes out of the treasury. The rest is profit. And guess what? Whoever owns those shares is sharing in those dividends. Oh, I don't want to say dividends because then the SEC comes knocking on your door. But they get those rewards. You know what I'm saying? And that is the future, in my opinion, and that needs to be done yesterday. So, I mean, that's why I got heavily involved in NFTs and NFT marketplaces, because that's where I want it to go. Flip my JPEG and doing all the shit that a lot of these guys do. It's a little bit crazy, but I understand it because markets are. You can't regulate any of this. Open market needs to be the open market. People need to be able to trade this stuff so that they learn, so that they get stronger and they understand how these markets work. Because the problem with our current state of society is that nobody understands it, because you were all told don't do it. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna lose all your money.
Wow.
That's the only way you learn. You get stronger through financial Darwinism. And we live in this safety net fucking world where nobody is educated on this shit. And now everybody's getting screwed because the people who are educated on it are screwing you.
Yep.
Screwing you.
Trying to tell their friends about it, but pretty much, yeah, we're screwing you.
Right?
Backwards. We're
we're just getting abnormally high gains while everybody else is just that.
Well, the hardest part.
We're stealing back what the government is stealing from them. We're just we're the last leg. The government steals from everybody, and then it gets sent to us.
Yeah, I mean, look, they printed trillions, directly injected that shit into Bitcoin, and guess who got screwed? Anybody who is working dollar for hour.
Yep.
If you're making $10 an hour, they printed, I think it's 40% of the supply in the last 2 years. That's $6 an hour you're making, but it still says $10 an hour in your check. But the price of oil just doubled. The price of bread is tripled. You're like, oh, I get it now. And then when they get it, they're like, well, why is this all happening? Well, I mean, welcome to crypto. Start learning.
Yeah. So you could do the same idea with, say, future earnings in a company, technically, and sell those as NFTs and use that to raise money instead of going through the IPO process.
Yeah,
right?
IPO or Reg A. You don't have to do any of that shit anymore. And then the problem is like a lot of the Reg A. I've spoken with a CEO who did a penny stock Reg A filing basically, and it's a 3-wheeler EV, right? And I've commented on his stuff multiple times, like you should just go private and then launch it as a crypto project, bro. It's like, but he can't respond because then the SEC's gonna throw his ass in jail. But like these things like need to happen because when you go into that system, the stock market's like 99% a fucking scam. Like the minute you're Reg A filing, you're in there. There's some VCs holding the floor. They're ready to as soon as it gets volume, they'll sell off that volume to slow it down. They don't want people making money. They need to make the money. The only way they make the money is when you show up, they sell you off, you sell at a loss, and then they pump you back up, and then maybe you buy back in. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna miss the train, and before you know it, you started with $100, now you got $10. It's like, how the fuck did I do this? You were their victim. You didn't see what was happening.
Satoshi, how does this change the way, now that you have all this fundamental knowledge over the years, that you understand most people just listen to directions, they will never look into anything themselves, how did it change the way you interacted with other men, like in your life? Like as far as like guys that you knew?
A lot of arguments. So I got 4 kids and all, like I have a blended family, so I got 3 sets of grandparents, right? And they all suck. My own parents included. Like I've had massive arguments with all of them over this shit because, like, for example, my father, great dude, right? Fucking worked 40 years in electrical union, is retired. He's now staring down the barrel of a gun a little bit because he's starting to like lose his sense because he's getting older, and they're diluting him. Like everything you got in your money market, everything you got in your 401k, everything you got in the market is 40% diluted, and they're not going to stop doing that to you because you're their prey. The Byzantine generals problem is a worldwide thing. There's always a winner, there's always a loser. There's the city, and then there's somebody always trying to invade that city, right? So whoever has the best consensus, whoever's the sharpest is going to win, right? So I'm trying to get them to think like, all right, you're stuck in this paradigm, and because you're stuck in this paradigm, you're gonna get hurt. And at the minimum, you should be hedging yourself against inflation. Like, don't do it with crypto if you don't like crypto. Like, thank God my parents have property because what was offset in their 401ks and money markets, they got back an appreciation of the property. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna start playing games with that shit soon too. They just want to find the place where everybody loses and they win the most. And right now, that's through loans. We just saw Goldman Sachs give Bitcoin back loans. It probably gave it to somebody who didn't deserve it. How much Melvin Capital? I wonder how much Melvin Capital was in their VC private round. And now they're flipping the bird and basically bankrupt. Somebody's gonna bail them the fuck out.
Well, that also, like, back to your point.
But I can't get a fucking loan to save my life.
Like, well, I'm going through the loan process right now, and you got to give up like your left fucking nut to try to get like.
I got $100,000 in fucking collateral in the driveway, but God forbid I get 30% of that. Like, are you fucking kidding me? The only way I have to play your game is by holding a shitload of Bitcoin, going to Celsius for 30%. That's trash. That's trash. And Mashinsky's a very smart dude. I've heard him speak a lot, but there's just a lot of like. It gives you like New World Order vibes when you start seeing all those group of people and how they're talking and they just showed up out of nowhere. It's like I've been in crypto 7 years. Like, where the fuck were y'all? Like this is weird. Like these people, I don't recognize these people. And these people seem like infiltrators to me, and for that reason, I don't particularly like Bitcoin. But it's probably gonna be $1 million one day. But I'll take the.
It probably is because a lot of people's parents, right, won't get in, but they would get into Bitcoin because they think of that as the entirety of crypto is Bitcoin in a lot of people's minds, and they would hold Bitcoin, and it kind of like where if you hold real estate, that shit appreciates, and you just keep borrowing against it. So that's probably, but what a lot of people don't realize, and are probably gonna get woken up, is that real estate's pretty fucking stable, right? As in, like, it doesn't have these
right now. But I mean, if you look at the 30 years of data, Redfin data, we're like there was like it's like the S&P 500. S&P 500 is hit a fractal top, bro. Like we're not hitting all-time high in the S&P 500 anytime fucking soon. I mean, that's an absolute. So highly unlikely that we're gonna touch all-time high. If we do, then they're just cheating. They're doing something wrong. You know.
Real quick, I have not even mentioned the chat. I am a wrecked ass pleb, guys. I am so sorry. Good arguments going on in the chat though. Keep arguing because
Latin American crypto hit it right on the nose, bro. Celsius is the opposite of what crypto is created for.
Yep, I sold all my sell at the top and then bought Polkadot at the top and got absolutely wrecked. I bought. Hey, look, I sold the absolute tippy top of sell at $8, all my sell, because people started saying the sketchy shit about the U.S. and I was just like, "Fuck this! This is kind of like not my style." That was literally the only reason. But like dollar cost crypto, all those guys were like dick riding sell for the longest time. Dick riding. Would never admit it now, probably, but I remember because I was there. That shit has had more bad press in the United States, like legit bad press, than I've seen on any other of these exchanges, or I guess it's just like a centralized.
Yeah, and you know the thought process behind Celsius isn't horrible.
No,
it's an old paradigm. You know, like Mashinsky when he talks, he's talking as if like people are never going to get hold of their private keys. They're never gonna want to do this. They're never gonna want to do that. And it's like I get that part of it. We're probably going to live like the future is going to be a nice hybrid of people that don't ever want to participate in it, but will get the benefits from it by having some custodian, right? I mean, look at Binance, the biggest custodian that ever was, like, and look what they did. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Bitcoin spot market exists just to liquidate leverage traders, and most of that is probably Binance. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
What did Binance do that you're referencing? Because I don't have context to understand.
Oh, I mean, Binance isn't bad, bro. I love CZ, but and I love the Binance Smart Chain, but it's toxic for crypto. Like what at least what crypto should be in my eyes.
Is it only toxic because of the fees are so low?
I'm saying like the liquidity providing the way that Binance does that. It's not. It's just a series of ladder attacks. Like number go up and then we get crashed, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's manipulation, and they're able to manipulate because all these people are just putting their money in their hands. You know what I'm saying? And all these people are doing is taking that money and saying, "Oh, we're just going to provide liquidity for the entire space," you know, and make a shitload of money off of their money. And I mean, you know, that's because people don't understand the fundamental concept of not your keys, not your crypto. And now, like, the shit that happens on Binance is predatory as hell. Predatory as hell. I mean, those market makers do very, very toxic things to people on the smart chain as well. I mean, Ethereum has the same problem too, you know, but you know, it's all because of liquidity getting centralized because people pick these stupid things to put their money into. And then they go ahead and just start predating on the little guy with all that money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be taking custody of your own shit. I mean, at some point, if everybody could spin up a token of their own, that'd be ideal. But, you know, I don't even want to know what that world look like.
Who wants a GRC token?
I think I'm just an anarchist, bro. I think I want it all.
In the chat for a Gymrat crypto token, high dollar token, very high market cap, extremely low liquidity. Guys, GRC token could be good. Real quick, before you two studs say one more freaking word, because you guys could go on all fucking day, let's be honest. You could. I mean, it's amazing what you guys are talking about right now. It's stuff people aren't talking about. But I'm going to stop you for a second because producer Bullish wants to come in and have a word.
What's up? Good morning, everyone.
Bullish in the house. What's up, Bullish?
Biceps
for Bullish.
What's
going on? Thanks, everyone. I got my biceps up. Just wanted to give the viewers a quick sneak peek and an update for something that Sam and GRC has been working on. So we know Pulse Chain launch is imminent. So we're just pre-announcing it here. We're doing a Pulse Chain 24-hour stream. Whatever day that launch, whatever time it is, tune in. We're going to be going for 24 hours. Let's go.
Yo! Yo, duty calls, baby. Let's go.
I'll be in the trenches with you guys if you will allow me.
Yeah, no, dude,
Yes.
Yeah, so the way we're running it is all
Every hour or
all our
something.
recurring guests, they can come in. We're gonna be sending out the links, and we're literally gonna go for 24 hours. We're gonna figure it out, and anybody can come in, talk about what type of plays they're doing, their thoughts, initial reactions. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And the whole entire
Pulse
time,
chain's gonna be a lot of
the whole
fun.
entire time, I'm going to be making sure with my best effort, I'll be taking maybe a medication that day of some sorts to keep me awake. But I will be helping people not get wrecked because I know there's going to be fucking major, really quick marketing shit that like you could click on in a heartbeat, Sam. Like,
correct. And people are going to need the information. People are going to want the information and come to a source where they can know that all the information is being put forward straight up. We're not fucking lying. I don't want shit from you. Like, just continually put that shit up, especially over that 24 hours, because it's going to probably be insane with what's going on. Thank you, Bullish, for bringing that up.
Yeah, and
It's
just
gonna
one
be a ton
thing,
of fun.
just so people know, because I see some questions in the chat. We're gonna be rotating. We're not gonna we don't want to kill Sam and GRC, so they'll be taking their breaks, and other people will switch up as host and co-host, and we're just gonna keep it running, man.
Yeah, GRC's got that look on his face. Like, I'm gonna be here all day.
He's like, I might be taking some type of medication. No, bro, we can twist it up, dude.
Like, lots of Adderall.
anything, guys, because I am locked in like a fucking laser right now. I'm studying everything brand new, bottom level. Right when people are coming out with shit, I'm in their Telegram. I'm asking every question. You know what I mean? I'm the guy in there that's pissing people off, asking for answers, because that's what I do for a living now. This is what I want to do. I want to help people, and this is a way to do it. And I have always had a good voice for speaking. I'm a great communicator. So I think this is, for now, like the position I'm in. I don't have kids, guys. I don't have a girl. Nobody tells me or does anything. I'm just young. Like, I just haven't fucked with that shit yet. You know what I mean? I don't got shit like that. So for the next 2 years, I'm supporting Pulse Chain and Hex and other cryptos, of course, that come up that I love.
Pulse Chain's your girl then.
Yeah. Well, my girl left me because I was with Pulse Chain.
Oh, caught me on the counter.
I'm very, I'm feeling the butterflies in my stomach again, and I'm excited that everyone's here. Rags to riches. Thank you so much for sending everyone over after your stream. We got the absolute freaking killers in this chat, dude. So many awesome people. Cryptographics. You guys need some catheters? What the hell is a cat? Oh,
catheters. Oh my God, that's sick. That's
you know what that is, dude? You know what that
You put the
little,
it's a little tube that goes up your
pee-pee hole, right?
And then you can pee and not have to go to the bathroom.
We also need diapers.
Oh, he's for it.
We're gonna we need some adult diapers. We need some adult diapers. So we need some food. Catheters. Yeah.
Depends. Catheters.
Wait, real quick. Can we brag to Satoshi Boulevard real quick, Sam, about our maxi call?
Yeah.
And my maxi play. So
I actually,
right when maxi minted, I immediately doubled my stack with a purchase. And as of right now, the premium on Maximus over Hex, what was it at the top, Sam? I think it was like pushing 50%.
Let me pull this up here real quick.
Yeah, right here. So guys, check this out. We were right on launch on this. We were calling this. We said it's going to be at a premium quick. So there's going to be.
It was back here when I was like, this shit's crazy. This was
still the mid phase. This is the mid phase right here.
No, the mid phase was.
Yeah, send me that deck screener link. I want to look at it.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you know how to look at the things a little more intimately than we do.
Can you DM it to me on Twitter? Because my main computer. I'm using my MacBook because for some reason my PC is not like working well with the microphone and the browser.
What's your it's just Satoshi.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Guys, real quick, Davis, $5 super chat. She did you a favor. More time for Pulse Chain. P, if you're watching,
I'll do it. I'll take care of it.
Oh, Bullish, you'll send it over.
Yeah, he'll take care of it.
Okay, dope. Awesome. Bullish will have that in your DMs.
So, thank you so much. Yeah, P, if you're watching.
Thank you, Bullish.
I hope you're doing
okay,
great.
so we had Dip Catcher on the other day, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, why is this trading 1 for 1? This is stupid. Like, why is this trading right at this level right here? It's trading below 1 for 1. If you understand anything, and it came out right around this period of time. I don't know the exact date,
Right.
but
it had about a day. It was trading at 1 to 1.
No, it was a couple days. When did it launch?
How many days has it been out?
When did you guys in the chat let us know? When did Maxi launch? What was the date Maxi?
The first day there was a
Like
premium
April 16th on Deck Screener.
So the
But
first
they did. But there was a mint phase. The mint phase lasted up to like some period here. Anyways, so we're looking at it here, and I'm like, why?
Anyways, it was trading for 1 for 1 at some.
And there's no way it should be trading at 1 for 1. There's no way it should ever trade 1 for 1. If you understand what it is, there's 5 pieces that all indicate that are all valuable that are in it, which our Hex doesn't have. So when you factor in all 5 of these pieces, you're like, there's no fucking way Maxi should be trading 1 for 1 versus Hex. There's just no way. Bigger pays better, maxed out. Longer pays better, maxed out. The consolidation of fees so that it's aggregated into one fee and then spread out.
And you don't pay that, by the way. You don't pay that. So that's just don't even say that, Sam. Just say.
But it's part of the benefit because it's reduced fees.
No, I know. Just don't even say you don't pay fees. Like that's.
But they do pay fees. It's just a reduced fee.
No, but you're not paying it.
But it's a reduced fee. You're still paying it. It's just coming out of your winnings, so you're still paying it.
No,
it's
but
just
they
like real
said
estate agents would say that. You're still paying it.
They said there's going to be a donation for the fee. Like they're not.
I don't remember hearing them.
He said that they're going to make sure that the fee is paid for in one way or another, whether that's community funded or all of us together. But like he said, basically it's going to be next to nothing.
So fees is the third option. Whether you're paying a little bit less in terms of your fees or somebody else decides to cover that for you.
Sure.
Your Hedron minting, right? That got into the bonus for 15 years. And it's tradable. When you look at these 5 things, there's no effing way that you should ever see this price trading 1 for 1. And GRC, we were talking about it. Then the next day, GRC switched over some of his liquid hacks right before this massive.
So I doubled my bag. So I minted a certain amount of Maxi, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm making this play right now, and I swapped at a 1.024 premium at the time. So it wasn't like pop and pop. It was really close to 1 to 1 at the time.
But can you actually not in terms of a discount? He put in
basically the same amount. I basically got almost the exact same amount Hex to Maxi 1 to 1 basically.
But you actually got slightly more Maxi.
A little bit more, yes.
So he actually got Maxi at a discount then is what he's saying. He got Maxi at a discount before this massive run.
And we were calling it the whole show, Boulevard. The whole show. We were like, dude, this thing's gonna. It's just the way it has to be because of the value prop and the trading aspect of it. There's no way people aren't going to trade, right? Like they just trade. So I'm really proud of those guys, and this has been absolutely mind-bendingly awesome for me to learn about. Like, because I have no financial background. I only know crypto. I don't know finance. I've never been to the post office. I've never sent a check before. So I don't know shit about that.
That is hilarious, but also a good representation of a lot of the portion of the population. The super chat from Street Guru, what's up? Thank you. Wants to know, this is probably going to be a thing for Satoshi because I don't have any idea what you're talking about. But what do you think about Pulse Bitcoin Cash? Go ahead, because I don't know what he's talking about.
He's talking about Bitcoin Cash is not in the ERC20, is it?
No, Bitcoin Cash is a Bitcoin fork.
Yeah, so I don't think there will be Pulse Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
Is there a wrapped version of Bitcoin Cash?
Oh, I mean, yeah. So but if you're wrapping it on a network, it depends on how much liquidity is on that network.
But think about that for a second.
No, I'm not buying this. I'm not.
But generally, historically, Bitcoin on wrap networks has always been bad. In recent history, we haven't seen like a major event yet, where if the company that's wrapping the Bitcoin becomes insolvent, then essentially the whole thing goes belly up.
So
right?
that's like a bridge.
Yeah, it's kind of what's happening with Celsius now, because I mean, Celsius is a lending protocol. It's different, but they're looking at it like, all right, how do we endure these 50-60% retracements, these 65% retracements? Well, that's why their leverage is so low. If they're only giving you 30% of your Bitcoin, they're hedged against any downturn in the market, right? So with when it comes to like these wrap networks, like it gets even weirder because there has to be liquidity provided in order to like bridge Bitcoin out, bridge Bitcoin on, and then how are you doing that?
So question. So like, yes, obviously the bridges could get fucked up, and then whoever's doing the wrapping, right? Because that seems to be a common theme, right? I'm brand new to this shit, 60 days, but it seems to be something that a lot of people who have more experience than me keep bringing up is issue, as in like, there's different periods of time where different issues are pretty commonly happening, right? And the thing that I've seem to be like experiencing is that in this moment of time where I've been in crypto for 60 days, issues related to bridges are very, very common. So that's how you're going to get your wrapped shit into one way or the other way. I thought somebody had mentioned on a previous show that wrapped Bitcoin basically was parity with actual Bitcoin, correct?
Well, I mean, it has to. But the thing is,
right?
that's but that's the question. That's the problem, right? So when something happens, an event happens on the actual Bitcoin side, where intrinsic value gets a disparity, if that disparity needs to be balanced and it costs money to balance, and they don't have that money.
Can you explain that more, like through an example?
Real quick, guys. Just keep up.
You're good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. That you're gonna start.
So say
now
Bitcoin.
I'm starting to hit my limitation, because when it comes to liquidity bridges, I understand intuitively how they work. Like I know, like when it comes to liquidity pairs, anything like that, like I know like how to play them and what to do. But like the technicals, I just got like, I think Walrus is a pretty good member of the Pulse chain and Hex community, and he broke it down the other day, and I was like, all right, so so now I have more understand like the concept of impermanent loss and all that stuff. Like I always semi understood it, but I don't want to misspeak and say something and I'm not correct. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a lot technically happening to make sure that those things stay in parity, and a lot of that stuff, some of that stuff is out of my wheelhouse.
Can I share my understanding of this, and then
Yeah.
you see if it meshes with what your understanding of, and we can talk about that for a second, because I don't, like, I'm brand new, but I'm like trying to, like, I've provided liquidity, right? I have sacrificed for just a couple things. Like I have Hex stake 15 years out. Like, not saying that I'm special by any stretch of the imagination, and the amounts that I'm putting in are like fucking peanuts, right? But I need to go through the steps to understand what shit is like personally before, like, if you're trying to tell me what like sex is like and you've never had sex, I'm like, okay, cool, that's a good story. But can I talk?
I can give you the technicals, but when it comes, no, just
so yeah, you take the PP and you put it right. Okay, so when it comes to the bridges, right, you're gonna lock up, say, XYZ token of 10,000 of this token, and then you're gonna get wrapped 10,000 of this token, right? So this value has to hold from the standpoint that if it's $10,000 worth, say it's $1 per token, right? And you have 10,000 on this side you put in and you bridge over to Pulse, then this has to hold at 10,000, because if this holds it, if this goes to 5,000, what are you, me, or other people going to do? We're going to buy this for 5,000. We're going to send it back through the bridge the other way and make it double our money.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like you're getting a 1-for-1, but there's computation involved in giving you that 1-for-1. That computation costs money. You know what I'm saying?
You mean the transaction
fees, computation to deal with that, to run
and
the
Pulse
bridge.
charges a fee for their bridge. Not all bridges charge.
Development for the bridge, development for, even the liquidity providers, because the bridge is just moving one token to the other. It's locking it on one side, giving it to you on the other.
So do you think
the liquidity end is a whole nother layer, and how that interacts? I mean, it's kind of like a cause and effect. Like, if I do this one thing, usually this happens on the liquidity side. It doesn't necessarily have to happen, but generally it does, right? So the problem is, it's like when you have like a little crisis within like the liquidity providing, where that becomes an issue, because, for example, if there is a disparity, right, and people are arbitraging that disparity, let's say liquidity providers are just jumping ship now for whatever reason. Let's say they don't want to go to that
Yep.
they don't want to end up on that side, or then you have a problem where there isn't liquidity for that wrap token, and now the value of that is dropping even further. And this is what causes issues. I mean, it's happened with a number of different things that are collateralized to assets that aren't on chain, like with DAI and it being collateralized with Ethereum and then USDC. I think before the USDC it was completely backed by Ethereum, and then Ethereum had a crash, and because people were over collateralized, they were literally like they were borrowing to buy more collateral, and then using that collateral to borrow, and then they kept doing it. Yeah, and then what happened was when the system collapsed, they couldn't pay the margin. So
then they ended up losing.
Yeah, so all those providers got wrecked. And it's all because of
what was this? Was on the system or a specific coin or what?
Well, DAI was I mean, so like this was like early, like probably like when Ethereum was like first getting like its legs.
So it's more than likely corrected at this point.
Yeah, I mean, DAI has been collateralized with USDC now, so there's a hedge there. But regardless of what hedges are there, there's still a fault tolerance to these things, and we just haven't hit them yet.
So real quick, before you go, I have to stop you guys because you'll keep going. $5 super chat, Pulse Lord, thank you so much. I got 5 on it. So we got Pulse. Everybody in the chat is being extremely active, guys. I have not called out any of you. Probably going to continue to not, but because I have to pay attention to these guys. You understand? Like I have to keep up on something. I'm trying to learn. That's my also learning, guys. Do me a favor. Smash that like button. I'm going to shill I want to support one of my friends really quick. So I'm going to do a 30-second shill for Cryptographics. He just came out with these 2 awesome Pulsex t-shirts. I think one was a Pulsex, one was something else. Hold on, I got to pull it up. Cryptographics. He's a friend of the show. Guys, he came out with these cool, and I think they're dope personally. Or I wouldn't have. Look at these cool jersey-like Pulsex, Pulse chain. If you're into that soccer vibe, I mean, they're probably extremely good quality. If I know anything about graphics, follow my boy Cryptographics. Just get to business with that guy. He's a real one.
Very good videos. Like awesome videos he puts out. Like very good at explaining stuff. Street Guru had just mentioned something. You also might enjoy Cryptographics YouTube channel because he's got a very thorough, good way of explaining stuff. So if you check out that, like you had mentioned that comment, you were like, hey, Sam explains stuff pretty good. Like you might enjoy his channel as well. Satoshi though, let's get back to this for a second. So conceptually, right? So we have Bitcoin wrapped onto ETH, and then we're going to get a copy of that shit on Pulse, right? Going back to that question that
don't ask me how that plays out. I don't know.
No. Sam, so you gotta.
No, I don't know.
That just sounds like rapception to me, bro.
How well will it have to go? Someone's gonna have to take the lead on that, Sam. So you're gonna watch it, right? Like someone's gonna say, "I'm gonna be a whale for this, and I'm gonna push this," right? Like because it's not just gonna occur. It's like people. Why would people?
No, correct.
You would put your money into a Pulse hex pair or Pulse ETH pair or whatever, you know what I mean? Something that had more legs on it. You would just do that. But I want to talk about one thing going around the community. I like to say I started this buzz, but I'm just a show host guy. Everyone's got stable coins. I don't care who you are. People hold stables that are rich because they're worried the rest of the market will dump. I'm going to say it how it is instead of how people want me to say it because it's so stupid the way people are. People hold stables whether they own Hex or not. Rich people, when the market goes down, they like to have stables. Everyone's really worried that we're going into a recession. Okay, now that we said that, what stable, if any, because that's a big question too, that gets copied onto the Pulse chain. Because I'm under the impression, hot take, there is no way that a stable coin will not take over Pulse chain. One stable coin will. Which one will it be? Everyone wants to say it'll be them, but I don't see shit. I don't see shit. Okay? Nothing. Until I see something, you're not it. Okay? Until I see a test net or I can get my boys to look at the shit. That's not it. But right now, I have guys that own millions in USDC and die. And everyone's wondering, what's the play?
I don't like DAI. I don't like
Why?
USDC either.
What do you like?
Speaking.
I don't like stablecoins. I'd rather have a rebase protocol, but call me an anarchist.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
Wait. Even better. I'd rather have a rebase protocol pegged to the Big Mac index. Did I go too far? I think I went too far.
No, but I want to know. Obviously, you know, people hold stables. Like you're a little bit more in the. I mean, you're in this.
No,
you're in,
nobody
I know
knows
what
what
the
a big
normal
index is,
like-
but you and I.
I don't know what you're fucking talking about, to be honest. But I just want to know. People hold these things. People hold these things, and people think there's speculative value on the other side. The OA. What does the OA hold in stables? Interesting question, right, Sam?
DAI, right? I think they
Would that
hold
be an
DAI.
interesting question? Look at liquid loans. I can't because there's no test net, Davis. I wish I could, but I can't. And until there is a test net, I will keep saying I can't look at it because there's no test net. Period. I can't put my brand on anything that doesn't exist yet, other than Pulse Chain, because Richard's literally proven himself over decades. Like, I mean, I could say that Richard will probably come out with it. The test net's there. I've been playing it with it for months. But all these other speculative coins that are launching on a chain that doesn't exist yet, I can't.
USDL is not going to be the stable that's going to take over Pulse. I don't think so. It's part of the
Why do you
different
say
protocol.
no?
Just because it's part of the existing protocol. I think you're going to have a dedicated thing that would be the stable on Pulse.
I don't know how it will play.
I don't know. I don't like. This is we're just playing conjecture here, right? So I don't think it would be.
Thank
USDL.
you so much for that $10 super chat. I forgot I made a funny statement after that, so I didn't.
Can you?
I didn't
What is rebase?
Thank
What
you,
is?
Davis? Look at liquid loans. Thank you for this $10 super chat. I really appreciate that, Davis. And I love liquid loans, by the way. And I love Jesse. I think he's very open and honest. Well, I actually don't know the guy personally, but he seems it. And I'm excited for the test net. Like the first thing I'll be covering when it comes out, the test net. So guys, give me something I can cover.
Latin American crypto is right. Most rebasing protocols have failed to hold their peg, and I think it's because they're not adjusting for inflation at a time where the dollar is being weaponized. Right? It's very hard. I mean, you got these. I mean, I was in a space the other day with the guy from Decentral, and he had a bunch of protocol devs in there. We're talking about algorithmic stable coins and how they were going about developing them. And like the only one that's really figured it out to date, like, is the Omni bridge, right? Like they're the
Why do you say that? Because that's the bridge that Pulsex is using, according to Richard.
Yeah. Well, they're just you have to calculate for so many different vectors when it comes to dealing with in real world fiat assets and pegging them to fungible tokens, and then liquidity bridges to other and ecosystems, etc. There's so many different facets, and all of these different things are trying to just win, right? So they're battling each other constantly. So how do you create the perfect consensus among them that says, all right, we all just got to win to get over this bridge to be able to go to where we have to go? You know what I'm saying?
I want to know what the rich guys are talking about in their green rooms so badly. I want to know those guys. But real quick, Hexagon Papa, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Let's get Sam a Pulse Chain hat. At least his Bass Pro hat looks better than his 1930s like wreck hat. But please show Satoshi what you put on your head during
There's actually a second one. This label is about to fall off too, by the way. But there's another one of these hats I have in brown, and the front is just all worn out and it's all peeling down. And people in the chat seem to think
it looks like it's leather / like rock. Like it looks like it's almost like an element.
It's basically the best.
That Bass Pro shop. I can barely see it. The Bass Pro shop.
Yeah, Bass Pro.
Yeah. cool.
And you
I
can
love
see,
fishing, bro.
you can see.
I'm not a
the
bass
vibe.
fisher. I like ocean fishing, but I love.
Dude, we gotta fish one day in the future.
Yeah.
Sometime, dude. When
I've
I
never.
Dude, I got a
actually been
hobby.
in the
Let's
store.
go.
Dude, I love traveling and I love fishing. I love surfing. Like, I love the water. I love being out drinking beers on
Yeah,
the beach and shit, dude. Like, that's my vibes.
Fishing's my
Yeah,
thing, bro. I could do that forever.
Dude,
Yeah.
fishing is the. I was just telling Sam about that yesterday. He's like, "What would we do if we wouldn't do something productive?" I was like, "I'd probably fucking fish a lot." Like, you know,
I can't. I don't.
I like fishing because it's such an art under the water. It's just an art. It's just like,
Yeah.
and
I
you
would
can
try.
eat it.
I
You
would
can
try
eat
it.
You can eat it. You can eat all the fish. So it's like for us bodybuilders, like fish is the best.
Fresh fish would be amazing. Yeah.
Every day, if you had fresh fish, different kinds, you don't know what you're eating at the end of the day, Sam. How sweet is that?
But so one thing that I like is on my goal list, or like the things that I'm working towards, is I want to spend more time reading. I really enjoy reading, and I read pretty much every
Yo,
day.
you want your next book?
I've already got a list of 45.
Oh,
yes,
this-
I'll
you're-
add it to it right now. I have it
This
right
one is the next book. So your whole list, you just push that to the side for a second. Jam
add
this
it to the
book
side.
as number next, and it's Ray Dalio, the Principles of the Changing World Order. That book is phenomenal.
Let's pull it up.
I just added it to my list. I read his previous book, Principles, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, but this one's interesting because his principles he talks about like all of the different empires that has out of existed since the beginning of time, essentially, and how they rose and how they fell, and the state of these societies, and how they were common in each event. Like, talks about the peak of these empires and what was happening economically at this time. And after reading the book, I've come to the conclusion that the U.S. has peaked, and goodbye.
I saw an interview where he was highlighting something when he was doing his, like, or maybe it was a podcast I listened to where he was doing a book tour or like talking about this on the podcast, and he was bringing some of this stuff up, and you're like, yeah, the U.S.
Dude,
is
and as a data nerd, I got the Audible. I try to find things that are immersion reading, but Amazon doesn't really like do it well. I don't know, but I've been listening to it and then just looking at the PDF that they provided because there's a bunch of charts. I love fucking charts. So like the data is probably some of the most interesting data I've seen to date, because it's like he deep dived into the history of like empires, like going back to like ancient times, and like you talking about like the Dutch when they were making ships and the British when they were making ships, and what caused these empires to yeah, it was nuts, dude.
I read. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I read. Go ahead. Sorry.
You go first. Go for it.
I read. I started, and then it's like a 700-page book that I started getting through, but it was fascinating because they were talking about money. It's Cornelius Vanderbilt. It's like his autobiography, Cornelius Vanderbilt. Like, and then there's some verbiage after that, but it's like a fat motherfucker. Like, it's a big book. And then the library, I got it. Just
Fat mother trucker, Sam.
Tycoon.
Yeah, Tycoon, I think it was, or something like that. It's got a white. I think it had a white cover or something.
Yeah.
But he talks about in the book, as I'm like getting into crypto, he talks about money and how they traded paper back and forth of IOUs, and it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it was like Satoshi owes Sam $100. Okay, well, I'm gonna give you, or $150. I'm gonna give you $50 now. I'm gonna write you an IOU for $100. I take that IOU. I owe GRC, $50. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna write you an IOU that I'm gonna back it up by this thing, or then I'm gonna use this other IOU and I'm gonna sell it over here. The intricate web of that is just like, oh man.
Well, that's how banking started.
Yes.
You used to have gold coins, and you would be like, all right, this gold coin, and like how we do liquidity providing today, like you put your coin in, and they take a little chip off of it, and that's liquidity providing. I get my fee for transacting these coins with each other. It used to physically be that way. You had a coin, you hand it, and they would take a chip off of the coin and be like, all right, well, that's my fee for providing the transaction. And then they would have all these fucking chips, and they would just make coins, right? So the thing is that because it was just unsafe to carry a shitload of gold, the banks, or at least that's what the propaganda was at the time. Like, here, give me all of your gold. We'll lock it down. We'll make sure it's secure. We'll put a couple armed guards there, and we'll keep it secure. And we'll give you a piece of paper, a receipt that shows that you have this much gold. And then what did they do? They took all that gold and they started lending it. And before you know it, they're making all the money.
In the book, like, I think we obviously are biased because this is the time we live in, but in the book, he talks about at least a couple of times, I think, in there, where you get the idea that it's just so cumbersome to carry around gold that it was just easier to do the IOU type thing and then consolidate together the banking. But now it's become this perverse, like, monster of, like, why there's so many, one of the many reasons there's so many issues that are taking place right now.
Quick super chat, Bitfinesse. Thank you for always supporting me, Bitfinesse. And he comments on every one of my videos. Literally comments after the video. That is so dope, dude. Thank you so much. $20 super chat. It's hilarious what the state considers secure can't be copied versus actually secure and can't be copied. I know. Bitfinesse, a truth seeker, an absolute alpha male, and a hexagon.
I want to show Satoshi. He likes data, and I like data. And I found this.
And I want to get in after this. I just want to get your guys' heads spinning in this direction. I want to cover Hedron a little bit. Okay?
Cool.
Because there's Hedron FUD. I created it. Blah, 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 blah. And
I don't know if you created it or if I created it.
Sam created it. I clean up the mess. And Sam creates the FUD. I clean up the mess. But at the end of the day, we just want to get to the knuckles of it, right, Sam?
Whoa! Look at funding Jim. Check that out.
No, he's not in here, is he?
Yes, he is.
Yo! Hold on one second. Get these dorks off the screen. Just flex on him for a second, funding. You're throwing around $100 bills like it's your birthday, baby. Let's go. Funding Jim. Great chat and knowledge. Great leadership here. And Funding Jim, that is exactly what I'm about. Richard Hart asked, what is your best hex flex? And I said, people listen to me and I'm broke. That is my biggest flex. You know what I mean? Because I'm a leader.
Yeah, you're so right.
No, I tell people all the time. It's just a skill because I'm a leader. I'm 28 years old. This is just my place right now. Right. And I'm not broke. Like, I don't have money. I'm broke. Like, I couldn't buy a fucking boat or something. None of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, but my bills are $800 a month. I feel richer than a billionaire. I don't need money. I need nothing.
Well, that's it. If you don't need money, you're financially free, bro. That's the
and that's the best part. I feel this freedom I never have. I was making $1,700, $1,500 a week at some points, and I was just getting ripped apart at both ends, dude. Like, I just couldn't. I was waking up at 3 to study for crypto till 6 a.m., leaving until nighttime, and doing it again until the point where I was so inefficient at work because I was so tired and I was so cranky that I was like, dude, the entrepreneurial opportunity within the crypto community has so much more kinetic energy than anything I'm doing here. I need to leave now. And I just left. And now I'm here, right? And people listen to me because I'm 100% honest with every single one of them about everything in my life. What if I came on here and I just said I was in Hex the whole time? Oh, no, you're not. Yes, I am. Fuck you. I'm rich as fuck.
I was in Hex the whole time, man.
But
I'm a pre-hexer, for Christ's sake, and I missed the boat because the algorithms, bro.
I'm a pre-hexer too. I was in a paid course that was teaching people crypto. They said Richard Hart will be in jail within the month. Don't buy his shit. Don't claim your Bitcoin. And I said, okay. I put my hands up like this. I said, you guys, I'm deferring to you guys in this moment. Right?
Yeah, if somebody had said that to me, being somebody who's watched YouTube and followed Richard Hart for years before Hex, if somebody had just told me that he made a coin, I'd be like, wait, what? Who are you talking about, Richard Hart? I'd be like, no, first of all, you're wrong. And number one, I'm going to go buy that coin. Bye. Like, that's
$800 for that paid course, though. $800. Dude, those guys are smart, quick guys, too. But guess what? They wanted to be right about Richard Hart, and they wanted to get clout because they thought he was going to do something, and it backfired because Richard's an absolute savage. And his ego, I know guys like Richard, they would rather die than fail because their egos are fragile that way. They need to succeed. They need it. That is what they live for. There is nothing else. Like, I mean, obviously you want to have fun and shit, but like, dude, like Imagine putting your face, everything you are, every cell in your body into a project and it failed. That would hurt, man. That would hurt. Doesn't matter.
There's lots of people who do that for the wrong reasons, but the person who like, I want to do things to win, right? Like I want to do things that are going to help other people, right, through the process, and you get that. It seems to be with Richard Hart where he's like, I'm going to fucking win, but through the process of helping other people be successful and solving those problems.
He's the only guy that I've transparently seen start as a degen and become a Byzantine emperor. The only person in crypto to date that I've seen, like Vitalik, okay, yeah. I mean, we just saw him pop up. Like, hey, here's Ethereum. Like, all right, we know that like they were doing some work, right? We don't know what's going on behind those curtains, but since day one, Richard was just on YouTube, transparently showing his whole life, just like Jim Rat's doing right now, and went from that to going toe to toe with guys like CZ, guys like Vitalik, guys like Hoskinson, and does it almost effortlessly, you know, and has a way more vicious community behind him than any of those other guys. You know, like maybe the Ethereum whales could like put up a fight, but you know, this is one of those, I think, like David and Goliath moments where if you're a little guy, like you just play your position and boom, that's it. Like the Titan goes down and we get to eat.
and just for reference for people, like I don't have any fucking money in crypto, relatively speaking.
This is good.
But being small in crypto actually gives you advantages that other people don't have. I just pulled up a arbitrage.
I got another super chat.
Arbitrage opportunity that you can't take advantage of if you're a whale.
There's not enough liquidity.
There's not enough liquidity. But if you're a small fucker and you're paying attention to the details, you can take advantage of small arbitrage opportunities that people who have money cannot take care of, because it's like it's $1,000, bro. Like
and what you do is you mature the market depth so that they can play, and when they play, they make you even fucking richer.
Davis, thank you so much.
Davis,
$100.
Whoa,
spreading the support. Appreciate the daily content. Guys, don't forget, Davis, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that. You guys have no idea how much that helps me just so I can keep doing this, right? Like, that's the only thing that I want to do is be able to keep doing this, nothing else. Right now, right? Like right now. That's not my forever plan, of course. But I'm enjoying this so much. I'm learning so much from guys like Satosh, everyone, man. Like, just crushing the game. These guys all around the world with their different perspectives. Some have kids, some don't, some are married 3 times, some are single. It's like you just get so much dense information and you realize that this is just a trend that's happened over and over and over again. But we're just taking a stand and we're saying, we're going to get all this info and we're not missing it this time. Because how many people missed Bitcoin when people were chirping about it? Everyone missed it. Everyone.
I read the white paper in 2011 and just was so drunk I missed it. And then a couple of years later, I look and I'm like, Bitcoin's $1,000. I'm like, oh shit! And I put my whole life into it, and I still won. So it's like
you were late, and you still won, and you're so early to. Right? If you guys are listening, if you're listening, and you're like, fuck, I missed out on Pulse. I missed out on Pulsex. Like you are so. It's not even out yet. Like. Just continue to learn, continue to educate yourself, put yourself in a position. You don't need to do necessarily what GRC and I do and basically just live with like nothing, basically. But put yourself in a financially responsible way of living so that you have like a lower overhead that allows you more flexibility, more freedom in your life to do whatever. And you're so early with Pulse.
All these rich guys, they're like, oh, you're broke. I'm like, you think I'm broke, bro? You're paying $100, $100K a month just to live. Like you think I'm broke? I don't have to do jack. I can mow my lawn and sleep all day. Like, who's rich?
But
real quick, I have to read this because this is a fucking great comment, by the way. Always had my I've always been, I forgot what that word is, but I've always been weird about Alex Mashinsky, right? Because the Celsius, all the bad press. I was reading that at
skeptical.
Alex Mashinsky, who wants centralized crypto, are behind all the FUD behind Richard Hart, and his being undiplomatic with most haters has not helped him get many power allies. Yes, but what?
Yeah. I mean, there are even Bitcoin maxis that don't like what Mashinsky's doing, because at the end of the day, like for example, NPCs with what they're doing with that. You're taking. I mean, Bitcoin has native multisig. Like, why are you trying to like not empower the usage of these systems? And it's because they want to centralize the money, and then do what the banks did with all the gold when people were putting all their gold in banks. They like, all right, we'll keep it safe. But it's not going to be safe. They're just going to open the back door, start lending it to everybody. And then, the bank got robbed. Oh no, the bank's insolvent. The bank's going under. And then guess what? The bank really didn't go under. All the transfer of liquidity was just transferred to some elitists in the back door, like just behind the curtain. It's like, yeah, we stole all their money. You know what I'm saying? Like it's literally the same shit every time, and people are just like, this has never happened before. Like, yes, it has, a billion times. That's because you guys just love putting your shit into centralized garbage. Like, why? Not your keys, not your fucking crypto. End of fucking story. If you're on Binance, you can get rugged. If you're on Celsius, you're gonna get rugged. If you're on anything that isn't like decentralization is a very it's a weird term, because technically nothing's really truly decentralized, but the more decentralized you are, the better off you're gonna be.
Check this out. I completely agree. Literally, I'm on the phone. I got a quick phone call right before in the green room before you came on with GRC and Bullish, and I'm talking to my buddy. He was like, "Oh man, hey, I just put more money in, and he's got it sitting on Coinbase." So I was like, "Okay, cool, awesome, bro. Like I'm super happy for you. I'll call you later to show you how to put that shit on your phone, right? So it's not right, because exactly what you're saying. It's on Coinbase. You're gonna fucking lose that shit. Plus, you're not gonna get your free copy of shit."
My chiropractor got rugged on an SMS. I think he got SIM swapped because he had an SMS authentication hack. Somebody sent him a fake email. He got phished, and he lost he sent me the transaction ID so I could take a look at it because he knows I'm in it. And I was like, bro, there's nothing we could do unless Coinbase does something, and he had almost like 30K in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this guy is probably never gonna buy crypto again because he got hacked.
Should I got hacked 65 days ago. Only made me more excited to have leverage on everyone because I knew I was a smart dude. I'm like, Scott, you're a pretty smart dude. Yeah, you don't know cybersecurity, you don't know shit, but you just got absolutely hacked. That means 90% of the people within crypto don't know what they're doing, because I know that I'm pretty sharp in general and I pay attention to some things. And it even happened to me. So at that moment, I doubled down completely and I said, I'm going to make sure I know everything about this. Obviously, everyone's in a different life situation, so that's completely variable. Guys, we have an incredibly special guest. He was just in the super chat, funding Jim, my brother. This dude's been spreading nothing but positivity, nothing but good vibes, nothing but top tier content. Well, I mean, there's probably some people that would suggest the vibe thing, but his vibe checks are solid when he's talking to GRC. And I've always appreciated this guy. He supports streamers. Mr.
A branding intro. Very cool.
Looks like you got
how's it going? Can you guys hear me all right? I'm doing a different setup.
It's really loud.
Yeah, your mic is just like 15 to 25% too much activity.
I think
so. If you put you down a little bit.
Looks like you got a whiteboard in the back and you're doing your artistic work back there.
That's a green screen.
You're good. So while he's fixing that, check this out real quick. This is Google Trends. This is the word crypto. I think so.
That's perfect funding, Jim. That sounds perfect.
This is the word crypto, right? This is worldwide over the last 5 years on the web. So this is Google search, the largest search engine in the world. Somebody sent me some data that said it was like a couple billion searches per day. But check this out. right at the end of 2020, this might have been when Canada was like stealing people's money or something. But right at the end of 2020, crypto went berserk, and then it hasn't dropped back down. Like, look at the last 5 years, and this is like, I think, and the same thing happens on YouTube, the second largest search engine in the world. Again, a massive run up, and it's not coming back down. I mean, like, it's down here, but
that right there, that down, that's about to explode.
right.
I like that pattern, man.
Check this out. This is gonna be for Pulse chain, right? Oops.
Oh, let's see the Pulse chain. Yeah.
This is, let me do.
It is whack, dude. Like,
it's up. It's going up.
Yeah, dude, look at this.
It hasn't even peaked yet.
No, this is just turned. I track this in like a video and stuff like that. So like I pay attention to this weird shit, but this is crazy. And then if you look at the last 90 days too, it's just interesting because you get to see, it started way down here and it's trending up. People are getting more and more excited about Pulse.
Do hacks.
We're talking about something that does not exist yet, and it's outperforming general words. You know what I mean? Like, Pulse chain is outperforming things in Google Analytics. Pulsex and Uniswap get the roughly, as far as we were looking in the recent pattern, very similar traffic as far as click to click.
Wow.
Dude, we looked at this shit online.
Is the supply the same as Uniswap, the token?
No, we were just talking about clicks to website.
No, I'm just trying to guess price based on that data. How much supply is Pulsex?
There's a boatload of supply. I don't know the actual supply numbers for that. Funding might know that.
Yeah.
Do you know the total supply of tokens for either one of those, Pulse or Pulsex?
No,
Well,
I don't think
whatever.
it doesn't really matter. I just saw a good analogy today. The analogy was there's 8 billion people with 2 kidneys. So the market cap of kidneys, since they're $46,000 each in a surgery and a need and a demand market, that means that the market cap of kidneys is like $760 trillion. So all of those numbers, even when people say the supply and they say, look, this is the supply of this coin, this is how much PLSX that's available, this is what the OA did, it doesn't really matter because it really is, to me, it's on the market.
I'm going to play devil's advocate to that and say that these kidneys are all unlisted. So price is actually per kidney way higher when you break it down per kidney because most of the supply is unlisted and nobody's listed them anytime.
Yeah, but at least half of all of the population can sell half of their stack and still survive, right? So you can have 4 billion people or 8 billion people to give up one kidney, right? So you're like, all right, look at this available supply. So all these things, when it comes down to the metrics, I mean, Richard highlights this all the time. These are all memes that are just excuses for you to hold something. If it's the meme that compels you to hold it, fine. And that's because you have the will. It's very much the one reason why I like supporting your channel, both you and Sam. I don't know Satoshi Boulevard so well, but both of you is because you are in the fitness industry. And when you're in the fitness industry or if you're in the investor mentality, you have a long-term goal in mind. You want to be an astronaut, you want to be a special forces, you want to be bodybuilder. That's actually, okay, here's my plan. Here's my diet regimen. Here's my workout regimen. Here's where I'm going to have rest and all these other things that give me some peace of mind and well-being. So there's all these things, right? And so I say the same stuff about, if the meme compels you because you believe that Bitcoin is going to go to 1 million, then you hold Bitcoin because that's what's compelling you. If you believe that Ethereum and Vitalik's genius and being able to understand Chinese within a month or whatever, his genius is going to bring your coin to the top of the pile, then that's going to compel you. If you say, well, I'm going to stay liquid in Hex because it has such a strong community and 9% of all the available supply on in the holders' hands outside of the OA is staked, right? These are memes. These are compelling you in memes. So the number, even when people say that there's trillions and trillions and trillions of a particular coin, part of that, many people know, is a marketing strategy because the only real use case of CoinMarketCap is to be prominent on the market cap listing websites, to be prominent. And when that is manually gate kept and it's on, the third page and all these other narratives that we know happen
Yeah,
to
Hex isn't
Hex.
even on the top, but any other place it's like number 6, number 5. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, even you saw today, I think Nomics was like, hey, good job, Hexagons and all this other kind of stuff, right? So you have these different listing websites that they want to get the audience to look at their content, to look at their advertisement, to look at their coin, look at their token, right? So these are all marketing plays, in my opinion. If it holds the community and says, "Hey, I'm willing to make a contract with myself to pay myself in the future more Hex than I've got right now as a stack. I'm willing to delay gratification." Those are memes. They just happen to be contract enforced memes. There happen to be reasons why you would achieve that particular goal of delaying your gratification and not selling into the marketplace. So if it helps the narrative, then sure, I say, yeah, that's great. That works. Just like a lot of other things work in a marketplace on psychology.
Well, I have like a little bit of a regression model, and I guess it's like meme versus truth is the difficulty algorithm there, and absolute truth is impossible, right? So it's one of those weird difficulty algorithms. My brain functions very weirdly because of it.
Well, when you were saying that, because I was thinking something similar, that when Funny was talking about that, because it's the stories you want to tell yourself, and you can use the word meme or whatever, right? The story that you want to choose to believe is accurate, right? But the interesting thing for me is like, what is the story I want to tell myself? But what are the stories that other people are telling themselves? Because then I get a better understanding of like what's going on in the world, or just other people's minds and how they're going to impact things.
The collection of all the memes and how their performances over time and what their market behaviors are going to be as a result of that are predictable. So to me, I'm constantly looking at all those things and using my discretion to figure out how that causes value to swing from place to place. And my goal is to stay where it is most valuable at all times, because all I want to do is be inflation adjusted, and under the pretense that like my own sovereign nation is weaponizing its currency against me, I have to be ahead of the curve at all times. So that's literally my only goal, right? I just need to outperform. I need to do what Warren Buffett tells me is impossible, which, by the way, I've done, and continue to do that. That's all I want to do is prove those fucking guys who called the shit that I love rat poison, and prove them the fuck wrong, because they're all wrong. They're all wrong. They're billionaires and they're all fucking wrong. It's the craziest time in society. These people are like titans of industry.
Do they know they're wrong, but their positions are too locked in? I mean,
I think they know that they're wrong. I think they know that they're wrong, but in order to admit that they're right, they lose. That everything.
But it makes perfect sense. It makes like 100% sense. Like if I have $100 billion and they're all USD, like, am I going to tell you that something else is fantastic? No, of course I'm not, because I have $100 billion of USD, right? Like, I'm going to be like, this shit is good. That's a scam, right? Like, that's what he's saying.
Marketing takeover. This is marketing. This is what are people listening to now and why. Even people like my parents are figuring out that they're getting rugged by the dudes on the news. Like, they're starting to see it because they're like, okay, this has happened for 2 years straight now. Like, did they really just send $33 billion here? All the news shit, like blah, 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 the way it is. And now I'm trying to like bridge that gap. And I'm like, it's all centralized ownership. It's all the same thing. This is just giving us power back. And this is just giving the little guys an opportunity to learn when you needed $1 million to get in before projects came out in legacy finance. Like, guys like me, we're not finding new projects in legacy, I don't think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm finding new projects every day.
All those accredited guys are now showing up looking for ways to pump our bags because we were fucking right, bro. At the end of the day, and you said it before, mainstream media is trying to like rug you constantly. Like the thing is they're even doing it in interesting ways. They'll tell you something until you start realizing that they're full of shit, and then they'll tell you the truth because you think that they're full of shit, and by telling you the truth, it actually ends up that you do the opposite, which is what I wanted you to do. It's complete manipulation. Like what Jim Cramer said the other day about, the markets are about to go down. Usually Jim Cramer is full of shit, and in that instance, I'm like, this is probably one of those situations where he's actually right, and people are not going to believe him. But I didn't move and because I didn't move out of some of my stocks, like it took a shit, and it is what it is. But I'm also like on the floor. I feel like so that's relative to like the long term because it's all the long term for me, you know.
Funny, Jim. How is everything going for you? Because I know you're in a different spot, like at least financially from where I'm at. Positioning yourself or thinking about, are you going to be doing anything, or are you just going to kind of like sit and stake your shit and be good when launch happens?
Well, my investment thesis, as far as you're talking about Pulse Chain and Pulsex and all the derivatives on top of it and things like that, my investment thesis started with Hex, very meek, very mild, because I was still recovering mentally, psychologically from the wreckage of 2018. I speculated in a lot of different ICOs. It was not gains that were speculated on top of something else. It was actual sale of labor, sale of rental income, things like that. And I put $450,000 in 2017 into things that went up to about 3 million and then collapsed down to about 37,000. So that was like really psychologically like, what the fuck? Like what?
Were you able to pull? Did you pull anything at all throughout that duration or no?
No. So my mentality back then was kind of what I was saying earlier, was the memes that tell yourself. People like Celsius because Alex Mashinsky did VoIP, voice over IP, and he had patents for that, and he was successful in a previous industry. And then they liked Alex Mashinsky with Celsius because it was an American company that was playing this arbitrage, middleman banking role, and they liked all that stuff, right? And yet you can see I thought the same sort of thing in 2017, that it needed to be an American company that had SEC compliance, that was all these other types of things. And I speculated in something that's not Celsius. That's why I'm commenting about Celsius as an example. It's not Celsius. That doesn't hold true in all cases, right? So all I'm saying is 2017 psychologically was a boom bust for me. And then I was like licking my wounds and saying, okay, let me go back to what I know, which was real estate. Let me go back and recoup my capital. Let me make sure that I have my cash flow in order and things like that. And I was completely out of crypto altogether. It was like, fuck all that shit. Just like everybody says, there's a capitulation candle. People get in, get out. They say, like your friend was saying earlier, someone says they lose 30 grand and then they're never going to come back to the marketplace, right? Because they psychologically, they're like, now they label everything they paint everything with the same brush, right? So I was in that mentality. And a friend of mine, a mutual friend with Richard, said you should look at Richard's content. And this was in 2018. And then 2019, when the launching phase and the AA and things like that was going on, stuff like that, I was pretty excited about it. But I was still very, very timid, very timid. I was like, this might go the same way, right? I don't know. This guy doesn't have a track history other than being able to call charts, and he's outlandish, and he's overestimating himself, and things like that, right? So I had that mentality still, right? It's like his content's great, his information's great, knowledge about the space is great. I like all that, and I didn't have the Bitcoin maxi position. So even when he started to talk about Ethereum or about Hex, I wasn't a hater the way the people that loved him because of Bitcoin commentary and his maxi position in the past started to throw vitriol at him, right? So what I'm getting at is my investment thesis, as far as even these derivative plays of Pulse Chain and Pulsex, are because of that learning curve and setting my thesis in 2019 based on Hex. Hex, let's see what happens. Let's see if it's actually a smart contract, if it's immutable, if it has a sound money narrative, if it has growth of community, if there's more wallets, if there's more staking in general. There's people building things on top of it, actually, like people that I know, and you guys see all the time, like Staker App and Steph and Firebun and all these people that are throwing thousands of hours over the course of a year toward generating content to educate the masses, right? So you say, okay, this looks like this is very sound. And that's why, you saw billions of dollars thrown through the internet at an address you can have no expectation of anything from legally, right? And that's why, is because Hexicans, people that made wealth, people that made money, people that saw that happen as a bystander, they threw Doge and Tron and Ethereum into that same pot based on Richard's trended data, trended history. If your tenant tends to pay their bills on time, you tend to say, okay, I'm not going to mess with that tenant. I'm not going to change their rates. I'm not going to hassle them or whatever, because I want to keep them. I want to keep them in my wheelhouse. And so when it came to,
you don't want to mess with a performing asset.
Yeah, so it's the same sort of thing. So the narrative, in a lot of ways, is set with Pulse Chain and Pulsex, and the expectation, even though there's not supposed to be expectation, is known in the marketplace across the whole community, because you see every day a couple of people making price prediction charts. And they make it based on, here's what went into the sacrifice versus here's what it's going to open at zero, right? So you have two different price point starts, and you don't know what the chart's actually going to reflect as far as what the communities or the biggest wave underneath the bell curve is going to say, here's the starting price. Is the starting price 0.0001, or is the starting price 0? Is this 10,000? Because again, if you go from 0 to 1, that's infinity return, right? Because it was 0, right? So we're going to have charts, but there's still going to be like an understanding, whether it's spoken or not, about what is my ROI, what is my actual increase in purchasing power. Even when people throw things around all the time and they say, I want to keep up with inflation, I want to outperform the marketplace, so at least I'm keeping up with inflation. You're hoping to make purchasing power gain. You're hoping to have more services and goods, and these are just ledger entries. These are just ways to keep account. That's all they are. Whether it's stock, and my stock is overperforming and keeping me ahead of inflation, and my investment has a higher yield in purchasing power terms than cost. You can look at all those types of things and metrics. But for me, like I said, what I like is why I came on the channel and why I wanted to be here today is because honestly, I don't know Satoshi Boulevard, but Sam and Jim Rat, you guys both, through your physical fitness training, your kind of diligence and things like that, you already have mapped out the plan for your physicality, right? For your how many pounds you want to, or how far you want to run, or what your performance is going to be, or whatever. And I see the same kind of goal setting work. I see entrepreneurial people that say, here's what I'm going to do. And if the traffic is smooth and easy, and I go straight forward, here's what I can perform. But what happens when there is a bump in the road? How do I pivot? How do I adjust? How do I take a different path? What's my plan B? These pivot kind of things. And I think that the gambler, casino, gamer, I've got to push a button to feel good today, a dopamine rush of crypto is dangerous in general, right? People have to make a decision when probably the best decision most of the time is to do nothing at all, most of the time, right? So I would say, and why I'm trying to come on streams more this week is sit down, put a piece of paper down, write out your goals. Say, I want to have a house, and here's the price point. Here's the zip code. Here's the school that I want my kids to go to. Draw out your map. Draw out what you actually are trying to get out of dollars. What are you trying to get out of it? Draw out your routine. Right now, maybe you're selling 40 hours because you're working for somebody. Maybe you have a different kind of goal as far as your business, or what kind of income you want in net per hour of your time. What is it you want, right? And set that in your investment thesis when it comes to Pulse Chain, Pulsex, and so forth. Yes, you may see 5x right out of the gate, 10x, 20x, 50x. It doesn't really matter if you sit through it rising and then sit through it dripping. And you don't want to be obsessed. I don't think you should be obsessed over the trading mentality. There's going to be all kinds of trading platforms. There's going to be all kinds of short opportunities. There's all going to be kinds of, wow, you would have 100 extra money if only if you did this one thing. And then you're going to be constantly obsessing over looking at the new next thing that comes out. What is the new thing on the Pulse Chain?
And funny, Jim, what do us bodybuilders know the best, right? Like, what are we the best at? We will wait for years on end, and we will outwork you every day. And we always know it, right? Like, I don't wake up thinking there's anyone outworking me, because there's not. There's just not. They're doing maybe the same work, or they're more efficient or smarter. They might be better, but I'm getting there, right? And I know that mentally. Like, you don't need to tell me. I watch the shows back. Like, I'm like, dude, You're catching. What I mean?
Well, both of you, especially as an example, you have how many reps you're going to do, how many sets you're going to do, what kind of weight are you going to push. If you're going to do like throwing weights around, what's my time when I make a run? What's my, you you have these things that are actually metrics, and then usually because you pay attention to nutrition and all these other kinds of things, what goes into your body, what's your fuel. So I like that kind of mentality, because again, it's saying, here's how I can get the best performance out of myself. Here's the goal that I would like to achieve. And, I think that if people sit down and they have an investment thesis and they say, okay, here's what's going to happen. There's going to be this, I'll throw back to the example of the big payday. When the big payday in Hex was going to happen, before that, it was an experiment from 2019 until 350 days later when the big payday was going to happen, right? And people up until that were like, what am I going to do? What should I do? And then you understand T-shares. Then you understand, well, I probably short staked instead of longer staked. Like T-shares have this value proposition about what they're going to pay you out on a daily basis based on how many T-shares you have. And so there's a lot of conversation in 2020 when Big Payday was coming out. And people that helped me a lot, myself, were like Dollar Cost Crypto at the time. He was called Litecoin Moses or something. But he was great because, we would have these kinds of StreamYard events where it's in the public. And then after we go to the green room and we have these conversations, say, okay, well, what is the value of early end staking? And why would you do it? You should do it because you're going to get more T-shares by staking out longer. Your belief that the system or the economy was going to actually occur, the marketplace is going to occur, the community is going to grow over this past year. Now it's proved. Now you have this number of people that are watchers of YouTube streaming content. You have these people that are coming to different events. You see more people coming on Twitter talking about Hex. So what is your belief thesis now, right before Big Payday? And so a lot of us early in staked and paid penalties so that we could stake out longer. And it's because you see those metrics, you see that it's like when you look in the mirror in your gym, right? You're looking at the results and then it's reinforcing your commitment, right? That's going to happen again.
And you create that community around you of people that are doing the exact same thing and pushing. Dude, I have 3 friends that have over $100 million. Sam's one of the most disciplined men I've ever met, and Bullish knows everything about social media marketing. And I talk to them all day long.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a superpower. Well, I know all these guys in Hex, and this is just, people are different. Everyone has a different role. Very wealthy, but they don't know how to put their voice out there. They don't know how to express their opinion. I said, Richard Hart said, what's your Hex flex? And I said, that people listen to me and I'm broke. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't always matter depending on how you're giving the information. I decided to give the information in a way that we're all learning together. And I just wanted to say, as far as the mental health portion, there is a mental health crisis in the world. And the gambling, I gambled every single day for 365 days straight, basically professionally, because I was so addicted that I couldn't do anything else. My girl left me. Everyone left me. And I was doing okay. I was decent. But it was everything. I no longer had a life. Today, when I wake up, I go for a walk and I get my coffee on feet and I walk back to my house and I sit down and I start talking on Talkspaces. This morning, we onboarded a doctor. She had all of her coins on Gemini, shit coins. You know what she did? She said, what are you guys talking about? What's going on in here? And we said, listen, your bags are in danger. You're on a centralized exchange. Let's tell you how to first get it on a MetaMask. She ordered 2 Trezors on the spot. She was a doctor. She was very smart. This community is the only community I've ever seen that has customer service 24/7 in a world where there no longer is customer service. It's incredible.
It is. It's an awesome thing.
Try to get a hold of Coinbase support when something goes wrong. I said Crow, and it was supposed to be right? The Crow verified address on my DeFi wallet was the one. It said it was a valid Crow address. I sent the Crow over. The Crow on the Coinbase side is nowhere to be found. And now I got to wait for support to get their head out of their ass. And they finally got back to me. He's like, well, send us the transaction ID. I'm like, I did. It's like, it's not the right one. I'm like, yes, it is.
You ask questions.
Your system sucks. you didn't do it right because you didn't realize Chronos Beta and Chronos Smart Chain are two fucking different things, and you fucked up. Give me my money. It's like simple as
So I
that.
don't know if you paid attention to Coinbase borrowed money. They put collateral of Bitcoin and they borrowed money from I think it's JP Morgan just like this week, and that's after $100 billion IPO and 46% drop in their IPO price or in their stock value. So,
when they did that, after they did that,
they just did it like today. I think I was just looking at Twitter earlier.
when it happened, their stock price tanked.
No, their stock has been tanking since the IPO.
Well, they sold like 80% of their holdings, top level execs, didn't they? I mean, the only person who I think didn't sell was Nas, and that was probably silly. like, come on. But that tells you what the problem is right there. If your execs are dumping the minute that it goes public, there's a systemic issue that they need that liquidity for, or they're just greedy assholes. It's binary.
Yeah. Well, it's a similar narrative with MicroStrategy. If you look at, I think I just saw the numbers. So it's 800% miss of their quarterly or something like that. For Michael Saylor, it's the same sort of thing. It's like it may go down as the biggest miss in stock history. I think I was just seeing something about that earlier, and he took a $200 million loan to buy more Bitcoin, but I don't know what he's going to do with it. So I don't know. Anyways, what I was getting at is I like the contract element. I like the investment thesis based on you drawing out your map. You can update your worldview every so often. Richard doesn't update every single day. Richard updates his worldview every so often, right? And I think it's the same sort of thing with your investment thesis. You say, okay, this asset class of real estate, this asset class of silver or gold, this asset class of whatever it is, stocks, bonds, derivatives, crypto. You should have a thesis and you should draw it out and you should write it down and look at it on a regular basis, daily basis.
What are some things that you put into your thesis for your investment?
How much is locked? What is locked? So I love Hex because it actually prevents people from moving in and out of the marketplace. Me, right? It prevents it. It's almost like when people put their credit card in ice and they have to thaw it out in order to make an impulse buy. It's like that kind of stuff, right?
Well, you also have a fundamental understanding of that because your background in real estate kind of like does the same thing because it's so cumbersome most of the time.
Well, I have a background in the military and medicine, and so if you're going to have a treatment regimen for something, it doesn't matter what it is. You have a it still requires time and it's a thoughtful process, right? So. I'm just getting again. So putting those things on yourself is helpful. It's a feature, not a bug, right? To be locked. 11.6 billion or maybe more than that now since the price has moved in X is staked locked money. That's what's in the contract and locked. And you don't see that narrative in any other thing. We saw this before with masternodes, and here's something that's going to sequester and hold up the price. But then people can sell the node. They can break down the size of the node or whatever. So I don't know. These are your psychological willpower and you holding your own commitment to yourself. Just like again the fitness thing. People can give up on fitness. They can give up on being a doctor, an astronaut. They can give up on engineer. They can give up on a lot of stuff. It's you that's making that commitment. And I just like that there's the extra tool of Hex. So when you're talking about investment stuff. For me, still, it is, as far as the crypto side of things, a majority is Hex. Dry powder, if it comes out on stake, I have in the past, I've commented about this, I've built up personal and business credit portfolio for 30 years, for all my life. And so I have access to capital that's not my money, right? Because it's unsecured credit, and all these other kinds of elements. And I like the unsecured more than secured. I like it more than a loan against real estate or mortgage, even though it's low interest rates, and I understand all that, how that works. But I do like unsecured better. And whenever there's a liquidity event for me in my life, it is because I sold a piece of real estate and now I've got cash, but the cash pays off the debt that's been unsecured. And then that usually opens up or unlocks more access in the future for unsecured debt, right? Unsecured. And the same thing with stakes. When stakes come out on Hex, if they come out and I and I'm thinking long term, I'm saying, what am I actually going to use this payout for? Am I actually in a position where I need that payout? No, I usually don't. Usually I'm living off of business credit, personal credit, or whatever for about a year to 2 years before I think about selling a piece of real estate that I've bought years earlier, or, you know, packaging something where it's not just the fourplex or sixplex. It's actually, here's the tenants, here's the leases, here's how I've upgraded and forced up the equity. It's a commercial, you know, property more than it's a residential property. So all kinds of things you should be learning in the background that actually hold your assets so that you don't sell into a bear, basically. That's why you see asset classes have bubbles. People move. When they see one going down, they move into a different asset class, and then they hold until that moves, and it basically they go through cycles. So I like the credit game personally, and when Hex comes out of a stake, then I decide, do I restake or do I, you know, access that interest, or do I keep that liquid, especially when Richard Hart has potential of having other products in the future, like the wallet or whatever. Do I keep that in a liquid position so that maybe I decide to speculate on that future product that's in the same founder's mentality? There's other founders that have started other crypto projects that have had short-term success. Dan Larimer is an example. Dan Larimer founded, I think it was Bitstamp, and that was an exchange trading platform. Then it was Steenet, and founded that. Then it was EOS, right? And because he founded those other things that previously had market appreciation as far as a coin, then people tended to invest in his project that was coming up and on the horizon. But he always exited the previous thing. He was never in Bitstamp anymore, and he was never in Steemit anymore, and he was never in EOS anymore. He stepped out of EOS. So it's not this, even though he's an example of multiple successful cryptos for the window that he was participating, I don't compare them to Richard Hart products. Richard Hart has a belief system and a trend, and he always does things that are supporting the previous success. So the reason that Pulse Chain is coming to the marketplace is, yes, to popularize and make it actually to make the transaction cost less on hexagons and make our onboarding process easier when we talk to no coiners or new people in crypto or people converting or whatever. But it is added value instead of I'm moving on to another project.
It also has a very synergistic effect when you, if you cut ties, right, then that's shit's gone. But when you think about it as building something a little bit bigger, and if you still have ties to the last thing, Elon Musk does this with a lot of his businesses too, and utilizing, you know, the synergies between the different business entities you have to actually build a bigger overall like entity.
Yeah, it's using your first project as a node to create arms and legs to other things that are going to be beneficial for the entire ecosystem.
So Elon Musk, look at his companies. Elon Musk, 20 years ago or longer, thought about people living on Mars and the division between people on Earth. Like one single cataclysm can wipe out the planet. It's happened 4 or 5 times in the past if you look at the geological record, right? So this goal of a solar company, battery company, boring company, all of these things, these are all aligned with the necessary tools to be on Mars. All of these companies are developing the technologies that are available and desired by the marketplace on the planet, but that's not his goal. His goal is having populations on Mars self-sustaining. That's his goal. And why do you need a boring company that goes underground in Los Angeles to relieve traffic? Okay, you can have a toll system. You can develop a company that does the underground transit that he proposes. But that's necessary for radiation shielding in Mars. Why does he have rockets that land on their ass when NASA hasn't done it? is because, again, this recycling of resource and material is an endpoint from an engineer's perspective of solving a problem necessary to live on Mars.
But it's also, there's super perverse incentives, like when you look at Boeing and like Lockheed Martin, like if they can.
Sam, you have to leave.
I do have to go. So that's the last point. There's some crazy incentives there, but also with the medical.
Sam, we might be going live tonight. So if I was going, I know Funning Jim. I don't know where you are in the world. Who knows? But
right now I'm in Puerto Rico, but tomorrow I go for 10 or 12 days to Dallas. So
I was wondering if you're not streaming later, which you might be. I'm already going to stream later. I would love. Okay. You never give me time to write down questions for you, you son of a gun. You always sneak in on me. You always sneak in on me, and because he's busy as could be, so he likes to come in whenever he has a minute, I'm sure. But if I could get you some questions written down, it would make my brain much happier.
Sure. I'm just gonna do a quick shill. Motley was in, and Molly was in the chat earlier. We're doing this Crypto Fitness Challenge, which is awesome. There's some awesome people in there that are inspiring me. And I would like to win that, but GRC and Bush were like, no, you can't just destroy everybody else because it's so easy for you to destroy everybody else. So Motley proposed that if I can beat him, if I can beat Motley's Twitter followers over the next 90 days, so that's by July 30th, he's got 14,000. It's basically David versus Goliath here. If you're getting value from the content we're putting out, like if you're learning, if you enjoy this, take a second down below, scroll to the bottom, just scroll past GRCs, right? You don't need to click on that one. That's not important. But go to mine, click over to Twitter, press follow, and then you can retweet this out so that I can get this 50,000 hex from Motley and I can beat Motley by the end of this 90 days. So that was all. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, GRC. Satoshi and Funding Jim. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.
So Funding, what do you think? You got time later?
Yeah, set the time. Just tell me I think you sent me on Telegram, so tell me what time.
I'll send you every specific
time zone.
I'm just going to go to the gym and I'm free. I'm just be studying for the rest of the day for the most part. And I would love to write some questions down for you. Lots of insights I'm trying to get in. There's so many things. I could go on for days. You know that. But you're one of the guys that I look to because, you have that, I'm not a trader. Personally, I gambled every single day for 365 days. It ruined my life. I have a bad taste in my mouth, period. I was addicted to drugs for years. I have issues, okay? So I don't want to trade personally. When Sam talks about arbitrage, I talk about the specifics of it with him in the numbers. I'm not participating. I just like numbers. I love this is amazing stuff. That premium on Maxi just totally opened my mind to so many things, dude. Like I'm telling you, that premium, because me and Sam, right before when it was trading at 1-to-1, I said, dude, we're so lucky to be getting 1-to-1 right now. I'm going all in. You know what I mean? Like with my liquid, not all in, but you know what I mean? Like I want to double my stack. It's just, I could talk to you all day. I want to bring some stuff up like this. Satoshi Boulevard. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Your insight is always absolutely incredible. I love the way you think, and I love that you don't conform to the way that everyone else thinks because you have your own experiences. And it's just refreshing, right? Like, that you bring a very refreshing tone.
To say, for many years before crypto, I had a vice after vice. I jumped from vice after vice. And then I don't know if crypto for me is stacking functions where I can get my gambling addiction out of my system and at the same time get a win because it's math based, really. It's all just mathematics. But for me, it's kind of cured that part for me, because I had a lot of issues growing up too. I grew up in the ghetto in a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 kids, and my parents slept on a pullout. You know what I'm saying? Like at the 10th floor of my building, you couldn't go to the 10th floor of my building because you might not make it out of the 10th floor. It's like by the time I was 10 years old, I had a gun put in my face. It's like, give me your money. You know what I'm saying? So a lot, my background is degenerate as hell. So,
you might not be as much of a drug addict as me though. Like my whole problem is I get so OCD attached to things and I know you do too, but you probably have some responsibility knowing that you have children and stuff like
Well,
that.
I got 4 kids now, yeah.
Right.
I
Like
got my
I
twins.
have, like I can do legit whatever
Yeah.
the F I want at any moment. And there's a lot of variable there for the gym rat. And he doesn't like necessarily, I just want to go this way with I've done a lot of that for me, but like financially, I've not even gotten in the game yet. I'm not even in the game yet. Are you kidding me? Like I have a house and some T-shares and some sacrifices. That's it. Like, and I'm freaking loving it. Like, this is amazing. Like, I never knew a job, something that I could focus on could be so absolutely inspiring to me every day when I wake up. That is what Richard has provided me, that knowledge, that free knowledge where he said, no one's paying me here, guys. I'm trying to save you. BTC takes 7 hours to transact. It won't adopt long term. And I said, I agree. Like it
and the Lightning node infrastructure that was built out by these centralized forces are complete trash. Third of the Bitcoin supply is traveling on the most toxic networks on the planet. It's not on the Bitcoin network. Like, what are you doing? That's not what it was designed for, you know? And even like there's some speculation that like how Bitcoin is currently designed isn't even the true vision of a peer-to-peer cash. It's more of a digital gold, and you know there's this huge binary there when you talk about like all of the Bitcoins and how they all function. I personally like big block Bitcoins, but I don't particularly like a lot of the people that run to big block Bitcoin. So it's like weird. But at the end of the day, like this stuff has disrupted the fiat system so much that a lot of the people that come from these traditional markets are showing up now and are just like, all right, what's the deal? Where am I going? What am I doing?
You got anything you want to show, my guy?
Who, me?
Yeah.
For what?
I don't know. Anything? You do anything in the?
Oh, it is? My soft shell?
Yeah, dude. MemeNFT.com. Dude, if you send me one of those t-shirts, I will rock the absolute.
Yo, I'm going to call Pickles right now. I'm going to get you a tee, bro.
Dude, please, I can already tell it has a nice fall on your shoulders kind of feel. I like that.
Yeah.
Funding Jim, anything you're doing, any message you want to send to the people?
Well, again, I'll talk with you tonight if you send a message and I'll reshow. But my reason to go to Dallas is Mark Moss is a market guy. He talks a lot about Ethereum, where he did in 2017, 18, 19. He's a Bitcoin guy as well. He's got different speakers on his event that's happening in Dallas. I got invited by him to go. I'm not going to be a speaker, but I'm going to go. And that's in Dallas. So I'll be there. If anybody is going to be in the area, especially if they're known to me, then I'll do a meetup. I think CZ Hexing is going to arrange something in Dallas area, maybe the 13th of May.
That could be a good time.
So I'll go to that. And then the following weekend, which is the 12th to the 15th, is George Gammon, Jason Hartman, Ken McElroy. They are the three that founded the Collective Advisors, which is a $50,000 per year mastermind membership. And it basically is real estate. It's all real estate people. So we have our third quarterly meeting. I'm a founding member of that. So it's a quarterly meeting and it's in Dallas. So if you're in Dallas between the 6th until the 15th or so, DM me, message me if I know you. If you don't, then follow the Twitter and I'll probably arrange an in-person kind of meetup thing.
Yeah, and I'll definitely, I'm in the spaces all day and there's people from Dallas all over the place in there. Yeah. So, and they're always talking to CZ. It's like, seems like a little group that they all know each other. Always good vibes coming from down there in the Hex community. Guys, thank you so much for coming in. We're going to be back at you for our second episode of Crypto in the Evening with Funding Jim. It's going to be insane. We're going to I'm going to get to ask him all the questions that I get to write down. I haven't even thought of them yet. I'm excited. Guys, it's been a pleasure. If you haven't hit the like and hit the subscribe button, please do that. I'm going to run this video real quick for the fitness challenge. Please do not DM me about signing up. If you want to ask, just DM Bullish and he'll tell you no. And that'll be that. So guys, I'll talk to you later. I'll see you tonight.